Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're listening to Batman on Film.
I'm vengeance.
I have given a name to my pain.
The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill the Bat of Gotham. I'm Batman.
Hey now, welcome to episode number 11 of this audio-only version of the Batman on Film Social Hour. And so belly up with the rest of us here at the bar, grabs the drink of your choice, milk, water, tea, adult beverage. And I'm actually having an adult beverage right now, even though it is 2:12 p.m. on a Monday. You'll probably understand why once we get to the topic here. I'm the founder of Batman on Film, Jett, Ramey, and with me today is, okay, I got to get everybody's names right that Pete's come up with. Eric Holzmann is the champion of Long Island. Am I right, Eric?
Yes, sir. I am.
Okay.
I'm the champion of Long Island.
Okay, because the last time I said Eric's the king, he goes, no, he's the champion of Long Island. Okay, I want to get that right. And Lauer, Ryan, what's does Pete got one for you? Because I got to know it if he is, so I can use it from now on.
Lauer spelled like lower is about the only assist I get from Pete on that.
That's
one.
it. God, we got to come up something. The what's something about Chicago that you particularly like? Deep dish pizza or?
Oh man, he says the king of the deep dish. I think.
Okay, all right.
Said that before, which is hilarious because I don't like deep dish, but
that
doesn't stop Peter Vera.
Okay, so that's gonna. I was gonna say, what's the best place in Chicago to do deep dish?
Chicago dogs. Dogs?
For a deep dish pizza, people would say Uno's. People love Uno's, and then there's a place called Bocce's. But I say probably the most known for the style that I like is like Lou Malnati's.
Yeah,
I don't know if you ever heard of Lou Malnati's. They are upper class.
Okay, I've been to Giordano's. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did. Giordano's.
Okay. And I did see on a episode of Food Network once. Here I go. I'm trying to talk about cooking.
All right, that's fine.
Chicago. It's a deep dish Chicago pizza that instead of doing the like making it a pie with two crusts, they put big ass slices of mozzarella cheese along the edge, and so the side crust is all cooked cheese. Then the ingredients in the middle. I don't remember the name of it, but I looked it up. Anyway, I'm not going to get on a tangent because Eric is. And I will say, Eric, we are going to do that cooking show. We're going to work out the logistics.
Yeah, we got to
work it all out. We're going to get it done. All right. So again, I got Ryan Lauer and I've got the champion of Long Island, Eric Holzmann here, and we're going to talk about the news that dropped today, which I don't think is unintentional. I think it's very specifically targeted to drop today in a trade. Ann Sarnoff, who is she's the CEO of WarnerMedia. Am I correct? With her title?
Yes.
And she gave a Q&A interview with Variety and basically talks a lot about their plans for DC in general going forward, probably with an emphasis on the cinematic world, I would say. And I guess the biggest bombshell that's not really a bombshell, I would say, is that Zack Snyder's Justice League that debuted here this last Thursday that we've all seen and talked about. We all talked about it on our various shows, Eric's show, Straight Outta Gotham and so forth. And then me and Lauer talked about it this weekend on a Batman on Film podcast. Me and Ryan both reviewed it in print for Batman on Film. So we're not going to get into the movie, but basically, Eric, what's the bottom line here on what they said here, sir?
Well, they are moving on from Zack Snyder's universe and his world, and they're expanding. She talked a lot about expanding the brand, kind of broadening things out, and going forward with the the various different titles that we've heard during this whole year. We've heard a lot about new castings and new, and that's basically what she was saying. Like what Zack Snyder did was we let him do his 4-hour movie. They finished it. We wrapped it up in a bow, and now we're moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, very clear. I mean, she made it was clear that we let him finish his trilogy.
Yes.
And finish his story.
Yep.
And made an emphasis on his 4-hour story, and so forth. Ryan, what do you think, man? Surprised? Were you shocked?
Not shocked.
Okay.
If it ends up, honestly, if they don't proceed any further with Snyderverse, I might be just a little surprised, only because as we're used to in media, if something's successful, we need to keep going until we bury it in the ground. So for something that seems, at least for the target audience, has gotten well received, to completely shut the door on that might be a little surprising from that angle. But we don't need to get into specifics on how that could even continue and be, it'd just be a gamble, like a massive gamble to have that continue also. So it's a little bit like, I'm not surprised, but maybe just like a little shot of, I'd really think they would extend it in some way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, are you talking besides other form of media other than another HBO Max miniseries, or maybe, like a comic book, a animated film, or anything? Okay.
Anything. And in HBO Max, in the form that we just got the movie to continue on HBO Max, I just feel like that is a huge gamble. That is expensive and none of us, I don't think, are really even sure how, if something's released in theaters, we can see the box office results and we can go with that. When it comes to streaming, I don't think we even have that figured out yet on the return. True. And to make it look good, it's going to be expensive if Snyder would want to continue with what he's doing.
I was curious of how much it cost, because you do Justice League 2 and you do it with the kind of budget you would have for a big screen film. What's that, $200 million plus budget?
At least 200. Okay. I feel like at least 200.
And I didn't know. I checked how much productions cost on streaming, and it's like the cap is like $15 million an hour and down. With the money that HBO Max actually paid to finish Zack Snyder Justice League, $70 million, it ended up being like 17.5 million. And it's actually coming from an article. I did just a little bit more research. And so it wasn't like they were paying really more for what they got than they would have usually, but you do something else with the same production value. That's a lot of coin,
Yeah. And leaving emotion out of it, just look at that business wise. You have to make money for a business to continue. And that just seems like that's a massive gamble.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Eric. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, if you don't have any idea of what the studio, like a box office returns would be, like Lauer said, like if you don't know, obviously going in, you're not going to get the same return on HBO Max that you probably would get in the theater. So if you're spending that much money, you're simply relying on subscriptions being added, not what already exists, but you want more subscriptions to come from it to make the money back that you're going to invest in the film.
True. And I was going to ask you, Eric, because I was going to you next. You're a realist. And am I correct? You liked, quote unquote, you liked Zack Snyder and Justice League, right?
I did.
Okay, because I watched your show. And did you think it would continue, even, spoiler alert, even though there's an epilogue and we really know what the epilogue is all about? It's got a whole different meaning than actually teasing what's to come,
Right. So you're asking if I thought it would continue, if this would continue? I didn't think we would get a sequel. or I didn't think we'd get anything live action. I thought it would be, I think I said this on the show too, if they do continue, it'd be something either in animated form or maybe a comic book run or something where you can continue on these stories. Because I'll be honest with you, the story, if you go from Man of Steel through the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League, there is a pretty good story there. You may not like the story, but it is a beginning, middle, and end to the story. So I think you could continue on with these characters now, because this movie, just like the theatrical cut, kind of leaves them in places where you could go forward with another iteration or continue on that storyline. So I didn't think, and I don't think still, if anything continues from there, it would be in live action. I think it would be in some other form of media going forward. And Bill, you brought this up in the past, doing some kind of animated continuation. I think that would be cool too. So
yeah, I mean, I have no problem with that. I mean, since she's basically announced it, I had heard that when it became a reality a year ago, basically in May of last year, Warner Brothers Pictures had to sign off on it because the contracts of some of the characters they're still under contract to make, there's The Flash and there's Aquaman 2 and there's, what am I missing here? But those are the two main ones. And Wonder Woman, yeah, of course. Because they're going to do Wonder Woman 3. And you get into all kind of issues there. And so there was kind of agreement, and probably not just a gentleman's agreement, probably a written agreement saying this is a one-off. And that's been long heard. And so I actually, because I talked, Ryan will attest to this. I was like, nothing will shock me now. Nothing will shock me if they go through with it. But it seems like they've got some serious plans with DC on film, and DC on film not only rolling over into HBO Max, right. Peacemaker, Gotham PD is going to be tied to they're creating a whole Batman universe tied to the Batman, because GCPD may not be the only HBO Max show that they do that's in that universe. Peacemaker's part of the Suicide Squad universe. So
yeah, and they teased the Catwoman. I remember they talked about having a Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman spinoff too.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So I'm only surprised because I learned not to be surprised when they announced Zack Snyder's Justice League, because literally, it was not going to happen unless there was HBO Max. Now, even Zack Snyder and all involved have said that, now they've said it wouldn't have happened without HBO Max. We know, and then 18 bought Warner Brothers. They wanted content, blah, blah, blah. You had the COVID pandemic, and boom, there you go. So I'm not shocked. The only thing I'll say is I hope that the fans will. She addressed toxic fandom, so that's part of the story.
She did.
Ryan, and you want to give us a quick synopsis of what she said, because she was asked straight up about it.
Well, she'd asked, so just in context, the question was, the Snyder Cut came about because of a fan campaign online. Do you feel like you need to strike a balance between being responsive to fans and charting your own course as a company? How responsive do you believe DC should be? And she said, we're always going to listen to our fans, but we are in service of the broadest fan base, and we owe them an integrated, holistic strategy. That was her opening line, which to me, I quickly interpreted as, yes, we will listen to feedback. Mm-hmm. If we have one small section really wanting this, but the rest kind of doesn't, we need to go with the rest. Like it's just business, in that you need to strive for the 100%, not the 9%.
And
you know what I mean?
And also the masses, the general audience who doesn't follow this stuff like we do as well.
Exactly.
But she specifically, she was asked about toxic fandom, and
she said, we're not tolerating any of that. That behavior is reprehensible, no matter what franchise you're talking about or what business you're talking about. It's completely unacceptable. I'm very disappointed in the fans that have chosen to go to that negative place with regard to DC, with regard to some of our executives. It's just disappointing, because we want this to be a safe place to be. We want DC to be a fandom that feels safe and inclusive. We want people to be able to speak up for the things they love, but we don't want it to be a culture of canceling things that any small faction isn't happy with. We are not about that. We are about positivity and celebration.
Good. Right on. Hallelujah. Amen.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to say to that.
Anybody who disagrees with that, like,
Yeah.
piss off, is what I think.
Yeah.
Because it's ironic that I mean I put it in my review of the movie, and our pal Garrett Graves said it, like, it's the irony of loving superhero stuff, and a lot of us act like villains. It's like that's not how it's supposed to be. It's just, we're supposed to be fans, and fans are excited and happy about things. So we none of us expected to get Zack Snyder's Justice League, and here we are. Great. Let's celebrate that we got that. But the whole point of this article showed that the plans are much bigger than that, which is also very exciting.
True. Eric, any thoughts on that part of the interview?
The toxic fandom stuff was, I mean, I knew, you kind of knew how she was going to answer the question. Like, once I read it, I'm like, well, we know what we're going to get here. But it had to be said. I think it had to be said, and it had to be said by someone from the company. And like Ryan said, if you can't agree with that, then you don't deserve to get this stuff. You don't deserve to get these movies and be happy that we have this time. I tweeted something yesterday, and I still believe it. Like, we're in a time right now that is, in my life, there's never been like this with this kind of content. We have so much superhero content from Marvel, DC. We have all this stuff. Just be happy. If you don't like something, leave that alone. We'll keep it moving. If you like something, just like it and enjoy it, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to put things down. You don't have to be mad at a studio when they're not giving you something what you want. I'm over it. Like, I'm so over it.
As you've preached on here a lot, Bill. I mean, look at Batman, almost the most adaptable character in DC Comics for any kind of genre, and his history shows that. If you were a fan of the Snyderverse Batman, you just got this 4-hour gift. You should be happy with that. If you aren't a fan of it, if you aren't a fan of that, that's okay, because less than a year, a new Batman's coming. And all of us, we've got the Dark Knight trilogy. We've got Michael Keaton's Batman coming back, as well as his 89 movie. We'll always have Adam West. It's just, I just don't understand the whole, you don't have to be a dick. It's just, it's just, you know what? There's a road, and there's different turns on this highway of content. It's like, I don't like that road. So then you just don't go down that road. Go down a different road. Pick another one that you do want to go down. I don't understand the toxicity,
I will admit that I had a hard time being objective on a personal level because of the toxic fans.
Yep.
For just saying, starting with, in 2017, in May of 2017, that the Justice League reshoots were significant, and got raged upon for telling the truth. And then just because I'm not a big fan of BVS, you get raged upon. And despite all of that, I think I gave a pretty fair review of Zack Snyder's Justice League, and it was not negative. It was, it was mixed. It was,
I knew you weren't going to come out
average.
saying piss on this movie or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it was definitely more positive than I thought it would be.
And I think a lot of people expected that. So look. So if this asshole from Texas can put aside personal feelings for toxic fans and to give a fair review based on how I really feel, maybe all of fandom can do that. I even pointed that out in the review, but I can wish for that. So, all right.
Yeah, just really quick, Bill.
Yeah.
I told the guy, I meant to reach out to you and I didn't, but I told the guys after I read your review how surprised I was at it, to be honest, and how I thought it was the most fair review you've ever written. So
Okay.
just for me to you,
Yeah.
I really, really liked it, and I was surprised. And you structured it perfectly. It was just very, very well done.
Thank you.
I just want to let you know.
Thank you. All right. So enough about toxic fans. Boys, anything else because it was not all about moving on from Zack Snyder Justice League. She did mention the Batman, that they're excited for the Batman. It's a different take on Batman, blah, blah, blah. So it's nothing, revealing, but there were some other few nuggets in there. Anything that stood out to you guys? And then,
we're not getting the haircut. We're not getting the haircut. That's kind of upsetting. I wanted that. So when I saw that, I was like, damn. So should I start a hashtag campaign now?
There is one. You can join it, man.
That's one that also, I don't want to say is surprising to me. I just think maybe HBO Max is they've got a better archive now of content that it's not as needed now. If they were struggling for content, I have no idea. Maybe they would think about that, because my impression was that there was almost more of that completed than Zack Snyder's Justice League. So
yes,
but that does, just because one was greenlit does not mean that another one should be. Just to me, I was like, oh, okay, that's a bummer, because I wasn't a fan of Suicide Squad. I'd have liked to see a different version, but I'm not going to hashtag brigade that at all. It's like, okay.
I would like to see more of Leto's Joker in that movie. That would be my thing. I think that probably because of the fact that, let's be fair and honest, Suicide Squad was a financial hit,
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
And there was not a big controversy, really, not in the way you had with Zack Snyder Justice League, or the theatrical cut. There wasn't that kind of controversy and nonsense involved with it. There was a little bit of, and so forth. But anyway, that is that. Anything else? There was they talked about Jim Lee, his role.
I was going to say the connective tissue being Jim Lee, because he lives and breathes DC canon, so he's going to be there to help link things, as well as I'm trying to find where she said exactly, but it's like one of her quotes. Basically, they're looking to reach into not just one singular vision. They're trying to hit movies, video games, TV shows. They did not say comics, so interesting with that I'm not implying anything. It's just, other than just interesting. Leaving comics out of DC Comics.
That's a whole different show there. If we go down that rabbit hole, but
go ahead, Eric.
No, I was going to say, she did mention how there is going to be interconnectivity between the mediums, with television and with film, and there is going to be, I know Bill doesn't like this, but there is going to be some crossover between the mediums. And I think because of the climate we're in now with everything else, I think that's wise. Just be good.
Hey, I'm all for the Batman verse and the Suicide Squad verse, migrating between the big screen and HBO Max. I'm also okay with the Flash, doing a reset of the films that are technically connected. I don't think we're going to get the Marvel type of build up to a team up movie, or these, all these cameos and so forth, but they will exist in the same world, and whatever that DC world is after the Flash comes out here in a year plus. So we'll see. So I can't think of anything. Oh, well,
I was just gonna say I found it. The question was about, couldn't that lead to oversaturation? And her response was, one of the reasons I'm excited about our strategy going forward is it is multidimensional. We're not just serving the same fan base with the same creative vision. We're trying to expand it. Not every fan has to love every piece of what we're doing, but we're putting out more tentacles to be able to reach people with different stories on different platforms, so there isn't fatigue. And she summarizes that with, there would be fatigue if we stayed on a more singular path, but because we are broadening, we'll have much more potential to grow the franchise across various demos and various types of fans.
I'm all for it, and I am going to do a better job of being more open and not as hard-headed, to use a better word, about this approach. I'm all for it. I think that's what they mean by multiverse. I don't think it's the multiverse like we think it is in the comic books.
Yeah.
I think it's a multiverse of just a lot of DC content on different mediums.
I came across, it was a tweet quite a while ago that somebody had said, back in the day, I made sure I went to every single superhero movie in the theater because I needed to support the genre. And now I can just pick and choose, which is fine. And I think I'm with that too, because we are spoiled in that we have options. Way back in the day, we didn't have options. Now we have options. If something doesn't look good to us, then it's actually much easier to keep scrolling, or like turn the channel, turn arrow next or something, than to sit and press play and get all riled up about whatever. So that just goes to support, get kids and elderly and middle age and teenagers all aboard the Batman train. Why not? Like,
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
What are you talking about, elderly? I'm already on the Batman train. Huh? Okay.
I didn't say Bill. I said elderly. So,
so I will say, and then one thing I'm going to ask y'all about, then we'll get out of here. I will say that I've never been a big CW, DC, Universe, Arrowverse guy, except I really liked the Flash for a while, and then kind of lost me. But I'm like, look, I'm like so into this Superman and Lois right now.
Yes.
Because it's really, really good. So I hope it stays on that path. All right. One last thing, kind of an elephant in the room. We don't have to have any hot takes unless you want to have a hot take. We can have hot takes here at Batman on Film. She is asked about the Ray Fisher situation. She gives her answers, plural. And is that now, or what do you think, Eric?
I think it's good. I think it's good that she backed everything that had been said previously. And I think it's good that she made sure to reinstate the comment that the actual investigator made, who was a judge, by the way.
Correct.
Who made, and that she said, obviously this person is of really high standing. So, if she's saying this, then this has to be how it went down. The other comment that I thought, the answer to the question was, they asked her specifically about the NDA. Did Fisher have an NDA? Because he had said that's why he can't talk about the allegations. And she categorically says no. It's not that she knows of. There's no non-disclosure agreement. So I'm not making a hot take here, but I think it's pretty obvious now, after seeing Zack Snyder's Justice League, what really happened in this situation and why Ray Fisher reacted the way he did. That's my take on everything now. Ryan, if you want to comment.
I am not going to disagree or call bullshit on that. That's all I'm going to say. Ryan, any thoughts?
I mean, at this point, I'm waiting for I don't seek it out. Somehow people think I want to know what Ray Fisher's tweeting. And I think I'll come across him tweeting a response about this. I was not there at anything, so I don't know anything. Who am I to try and judge how somebody really felt about something? I wasn't there. But when you look at the evidence, Warner Brothers had an investigation conducted by a judge. Like, to call BS on that's a ballsy move, especially when you don't provide evidence against faulty interference, and I'll agree with what Eric just said. And the whole kicker is that I really liked him in the 2017 movie, and I liked him in this one. So
yeah, me too.
If he wasn't in these movies, I wouldn't know who he was. So I don't know. At this point, the evidence to side with Warner Brothers kind of is outweighing the opposing view, but I don't care either.
I think they would. I'm with you on that. I'm over it. I think I'll just say is I think that Warner Brothers would have been in a far worse situation if they brought in a stooge of a federal judge and did a bogus investigation, and then all that came out at some point, especially with the things that Mr. Fisher was alleging. And I'll leave it at that. I will also say I would love to have seen a Cyborg origin film that took a lot of the stuff that was in ZSJL and handled that in an origin movie, because it would have been cool, and it would have cut down the time how long the movie was. So I guess that's it, boys. And any last words, or we can get right to plugs if y'all want to.
The Batman is coming.
That is true.
I've heard.
That is true. And
the
Suicide Squad. Yes.
The Suicide Squad is first.
Yes.
So excited for it. I think this article will piss off the ones we can already expect to be pissed off about it. It will disappoint others. And as somebody who favored and positively spoke of Zack Snyder's Justice League, I'll say that I'm not necessarily disappointed, because I'm okay with there being other options, and there's going to be a lot of options in the future. And I think that's worth being excited about.
All I say is, if I was talking to those folks, I'd say, look, man, it's a movie.
Yeah.
It's all entertainment. It's not worth dedicating your life to spam a hashtag over throughout social media and comment sections and so forth, and just enjoy. You got a 4-hour film. Enjoy it, and it will always be there. You can always watch. You can always watch Man of Steel BVS and the 4-hour Justice League. You know, enjoy it. Don't be an asshole and make fans look like assholes. Please don't.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I would say too. I'm with you. Right, I'm with you there. Like you were part of something that got something done. Number one, like you know, yes, it took a lot of things to happen at the same time, but you were part of that. So enjoy your win, and enjoy, like you said, that you can watch this now forever. It's on HBO Max, so it was an HBO Max original. It's not going anywhere. You can always go back to it and watch it. So
true. All right, Ryan, plug whatever you like to plug.
I would like to plug the Batman Book Club, a podcast that both of you gentlemen have been on. A new episode actually just dropped talking about Sean Murphy's Curse of the White Knight. Check out my articles on Batman on Film. I will have the White Knight Harley Quinn spinoff series is wrapped up. There will be a final review posted on that release day, which depending on when this drops is either tomorrow or today. And let's see check out my review for Zack Snyder's Justice League, also on BOF.
One question.
Sure.
About White Knight. Is there White Knight 3, or is the Harley Quinn White Knight kind of White Knight 3?
There will be a third one called Batman Beyond the White Knight. Sean Murphy, the last he spoke of it was, he teased it during development of Curse of the White Knight. But he said in an article last year with Sci-Fi that basically he expected us to hear word or release of the third one this summer. And it is supposed to take place in the future of Bruce Wayne has gotten out of prison, and where he is usually one ahead of the game of everybody with tech and stuff. Everybody, like, now he's behind, and somehow Terry McGinnis has stumbled upon his Batman world. So that's the approach.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I'm like, I will follow Sean Murphy into anything now. Yeah. He has won my money. So
like me and you were the ones that were all about White Knight, you know?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I think everyone was there, like Batman on
Everyone was. You and I were really excited about it up to release, and that first issue dropped, and I think our hearts were like, oh my gosh, this is wonderful.
Yeah. Eric.
So if you guys want to check out our latest episode of the Iceberg Lounge, which is a collaborative effort by Straight Outta Gotham and a few other podcasts, we were on Friday night. We did a 4-hour true to the movie show on YouTube. So if you guys want to check out the replay of that, you don't have to watch all 4 hours, but if you do, check that out on YouTube. Also on our Facebook page. It's also was recorded on Facebook Live as well, so you can check it out both places there. If you want to interact with me and Pete on Twitter, it's the Straight Outta Gotham Twitter account. It's @straight_O_G. If you want to interact with me personally, I am at Finale33. That's spelled Finale 33. And as I said, also check us out on Facebook. We have a Facebook group and a Facebook show page, where the show page has information about the show, obviously, and the group is where all our fans can interact at that spot.
Cool. And you can also find links to Eric and Pete's shows straight from the main page of Batman on Film. Then it'll take you all to the Twitter and social media stuff as well. For me, if you want to follow me, and it's more on a personal, I give hot takes and post nonsense about sports and cooking and whatever else. That's at Batman on Film. If you just want to follow Batman on Film news, links coming from the site, that's at the Batman on Film on Twitter. If you like what we do here on Batman on Film and want to help us continue on, head on over to Patreon, patreon.com/Batman on Film. And of course, all of these shows are part of the Batman Podcast Network, which is hosted by Batman on Film. You can find all the shows at BatmanPodcastNetwork.com, no dashes. And Ryan Haas does a great job running us on Twitter. It's at BatPod Network. I always ask, that's right. Correct? Am I right?
That is correct.
At BatPod Network. All right. So for Eric and Ryan, I am Bill, and we will catch you next time. And Baba Booey to you all.
Thanks for listening to the Batman on Film Social Hour, Jett's official BOF podcast and vlog. Follow Jett on Twitter at Batman on Film. For BOF news only on Twitter, follow at the Batman on Film. For Jett and everyone at BOF, I'm announcer Rachel. Authoritative, definitive, the original. Batman on Film.